Hey guys, so welcome to my first technical worship tutorial video. Today I'm going to show you kind of how to make a worship guitar rig. Yeah. There's a lot of videos out there that talk about how to get a good rig, and for a guy who's been playing for a few years, they're pretty good. They're pretty good videos, but they're talking about really expensive gear and being able to play really well and knowing all the different things. And when you're first starting out, that's a little intimidating. So I'm going to give you kind of just a few examples of some cheaper rigs that I kind of found might be able to work if you just play with them a little bit. So I'm going to give you kind of three right there. I'm going to give you kind of three different rigs that might be able to work for your purposes. So the first one is the guy who isn't going to be playing on stage tomorrow. This is the guy who got, a few months or something to kind of practice, but he knows, or she knows, I'm sorry, for all the ladies, but you know that you're going to be playing in a few months, but you've got time to kind of build up your skills and build up your rig and spend a little more time on it. So this rig is fairly simple. I would suggest going with a Strat Pack. These are made by Squier, which is the cheaper version of Fender, and it comes with a guitar, an amp, a cable, a gig bag, and a cord, and like instructional DVDs on how to set your stuff up, and they're pretty handy. That's actually what I started with. I now have none of that equipment. I've sold it all to one of my friends, but they're a great place to start. They kind of are a nice introduction. The amp is really small, so there's not a lot going on with it, so you're not going to get any cool effects or anything out of it, but it's going to give you an introduction on how to use gain and EQs and all kind of just very simple amp stuff. And it doesn't sound terrible. Of course, it is a solid state amp. Every amp I'm going to be telling you guys about is a solid state amp because tube amps are just so expensive. And until just a few months ago, I was playing with a solid state amp. Every worship guy on the face of the earth will tell you to start with a tube amp. But if it's your first amp, don't go with a tube amp. Go with a solid state. They're cheaper, they're lighter, they're a little bit easier to work with, and they don't sound terrible. You can find ones that don't sound bad. So go with a Strat Pack for the first one. Now the second one is the guy who has to be playing pretty soon and needs a guitar and an amp pretty quickly. So I would suggest going with again a Fender or a Squier Strat, not the Strat Pack though. All of these are going to be using the Squier Mini Strat, which is just a nice little Stratocaster. You can find them for $100 at almost every Guitar Center on the face of the earth, or almost any guitar store really. But anyways, so guitar, you get a Squier Strat, and then you can get a Mustang amp. This is another Fender amp. Fender makes good cheap amps, basically. They make some good expensive amps too. I would love to be able to spend, $900 on, Hot Rod DeVille or whatever, but I can't. Anyways, so you can just go with the Mustangs. I used the Mustang 4 until a few months ago, and it's a great sounding amp, but that one is unnecessarily big and unnecessarily expensive. Because the Mustang 3 is the exact same thing, but it only has one speaker as opposed to two. If you want to see that amp, you can go back on my channel and check out my guitar rig video, not the guitar rig update, unless you want to see what I'm using now. But the Mustang amps are good. I found out you can get the first one, I think it's just over $200. So you can get the first one along with the foot switch and the guitar for under maybe $350, and it has a tuner on it, which is important if you're going to be playing live. Having a tuner is a very, very helpful thing. I've been playing without a tuner for the past few weeks, and it has been a nightmare. So the next rig, the last rig I'm going to tell you about is kind of almost where I am, but not quite exactly. This is somebody who likes pedals better than digital effects on an amp, but doesn't want to have to wait to get pedals. So what you can do, you get your Fender Mini Strat, or your Squier Mini Strat. Another note about those guitars is they're called minis for a reason. They're smaller, but that also means they're lighter and easier to use on stage. So really, they're not bad guitars by any means. I like my PRS better, but it's about 500 or 600 bucks, so it's a little bit more expensive. Anyways, so you go ahead and you can get your Squier Strat, and then putting some pedals on the floor. I would suggest a delay, an overdrive, and then like a volume pedal. I don't have those right now. The delay pedal I use is at church because my youth pastor is graciously letting me use his one of his overdrive pedals and his delay pedal. So I can't really show those to you, but you can get a good delay pedal, especially like one of the Tap Tempo, for maybe $150 or so. You can get like a DL, or not a DL4, but like a Boss DD7, I think. You can usually find those, especially used. And then in overdrive, you can get something very classic, like a Ibanez TS9 for about $100. Volume pedals you can find for about $80 or so. I have the Ernie Ball VP Junior, and I really like that. It's worked out really well. So that's just kind of the video. I saw in the comments one of my friends wants me to do a tutorial video on a song, Not Ashamed by Christian Stanfill and Passion, or maybe the other way around. I don't know what the technical term is for that, but I'll do that at some point. I'll get into doing more songs and stuff, but right now it's super important to get your rig set up. There's no way to play without a guitar. You know, you can't play guitar without having a guitar. So all those rigs, the first one, the Strat Pack, that was about $300. The second one is about $350, but you get digital effects and you can get a small one-button foot switch to get like a preset. And that's a really nice thing to have on stage, is to have a way to get multiple sounds, because having one sound on stage, I've done it, it's terrible. I will never do it again. But, you know, that just kind of gives you a nice thing. And modeling amps are kind of fun. You know, they're pretty cool to play with. So those are kind of fun. And they don't sound bad. And then the last rig is, you know, getting yourself a one-channel amp with a couple of pedals. You can probably do that for definitely under $500. Especially if you go used on the pedals, you can get a lot cheaper. I'm actually looking at going used on my pedals soon. Starting to build up my pedal board. I'm going to buy my board, hopefully. Well, hopefully by the time you guys see this, I'll have a board. But yeah, those are just kind of some cheap ways to make a rig that works really, really well. You know, it's not a tube amp, it's not a massive pedal board, it's not a giant delay modeler. You know, you're not gonna have 3 reverb pedals or whatever the heck you need, because some guys go a little crazy with the reverb. I might be one of them. But that's just kind of a way to get started. You know, and starting as a guitarist, I think it's way more important to learn how to play than to have all the coolest gear in the world. You know, you can have the $900 pedal board or whatever. You can have the $400 reverb pedal or whatever you want. But unless you know how to play, it's not going to sound good. So that's just kind of a way to get your rig set up, and soon we will be going over how to actually start playing very, very soon. So go ahead, if you want to see those videos coming up, go ahead and click the subscribe button down below. I think it's going to be right somewhere around here. I'm not sure. But also, you can comment on this video what you would like to learn how to do. If there's something that you've just wanted to learn for a long time and have never done it, or you just don't know how to do it, and you think, oh, this is so simple, nobody's going to teach me how to do it, I'll teach you how to do it. Just, I got to know if you want to learn how to do it. So leave those comments. Hope this helps you get your rig set up. That would be really cool. I love seeing new guitarists. That's always fun to get to see people join in the group of awesome guitarists. So I will see you guys next week with a brand new video. Hope you enjoy this whole new worship format thing for all you old people here. And I will see you next week. Bye, guys.